Picture a giant stadium packed and roaring, except the crowd isn't watching a game. They're watching money gurus. Hundreds of them, each on their own little stage, each with a microphone, each shouting a different secret to getting rich, and every one of them holding up a book or a course or a program with their face on the cover. One is screaming that debt is evil and you must destroy it. The one right beside him is screaming that debt is the secret weapon of the rich. One says real estate is the only way. Another says crypto. Another says index funds. Another says quit your job. Another says never quit your job. Another says the answer is a mindset or a morning routine or a $900 seminar happening this weekend only. And picture you, standing in the middle of that stadium, turning in a slow circle, trying to listen to all of them at once. You bought a ticket to get in here. You've probably bought one of their books, maybe a course. And here's the thing, you're still not rich. You walked in confused and a little broke. And after all this noise, you're somehow more confused and a little more broke. And part of you assumes that's your fault, that you didn't try hard enough, didn't follow the steps, didn't have the discipline. I want to tell you something that took me years to see. Look at those gurus again, all shouting over each other. They contradict each other constantly. They cannot all be right, and most of them on the specifics are flatly wrong. But underneath the noise, every single one of them, from the crypto bro to the real estate hustler to the wholesome guy in the sweater vest your parents trust, is selling you the exact same lie. The same one, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it, and you'll never look at a single one of these people the same way again. Because here's the twist this whole video is built on. The actual truth about building wealth, the real, complete, honest version, is so short, so boring, and so free that it fits on a single index card. One card. You could write it out in 90 seconds. And the entire reason that Stadium exists, the entire reason there's an industry of thousands of people shouting secrets at you, is that nobody can build an empire selling you a free index card. So they sell you everything except the card. Let me show you the lie why every one of them has to tell it, why even the most genuinely helpful guru alive can't escape it. And then let me just hand you the card for free, so you can walk out of that stadium and never buy a ticket again. So what is the lie? Let me say it as plainly as I can, and then we'll take it apart. The lie is that getting wealthy is complicated, that it's urgent, and above all that it's a discipline problem, a secret you're missing, and a personal failing you need their special system to fix. Every guru, in their own flavor, tells you some version of, it's complex out there, but I've cracked the code. And if you're not rich yet, it's because you don't have the knowledge, the mindset, or the willpower, and I can sell you all three. Now, here's why that's a lie, and it comes down to that index card. Picture me writing it right now, in plain handwriting, on a single white card. Spend less than you earn. Kill off any high-interest debt. Keep a small pile of cash for emergencies. Take the money left over and put it into a boring broad basket of index funds, automatically, every month. Then don't touch it. Don't panic when it drops. Don't chase the hot thing. And wait, for years, for decades. Buy insurance so one disaster can't wipe you out. And over time, work on earning more because there's a limit to how little you can spend, but no limit to how much you can earn. That's the card. Picture it sitting there on the table. That is not a teaser for the real secret. That is the secret. That is essentially the entire truth of building wealth for 99% of people. And there is nothing on that card you haven't heard before. Nothing that requires a guru, a course, a seminar, or a sweater vest. It is boring, it is slow, it is free, and it works. Picture that little card next to the roaring stadium of thousands of people selling systems. And understand that the stadium exists precisely because the card is this small. You cannot sell what fits on a card and costs nothing. So an entire industry has grown up around hiding it. So why does every single one of them tell this lie? Not because they're all con artists. Some of them genuinely want to help. They tell it because they have no choice. It's baked into the business. Think about the money guru world for a second, and you'll notice it's a perfect mirror of another industry you already know is mostly a scam. The diet and weight loss industry. Picture a bookstore wall stacked floor to ceiling with diet books, each promising a different secret. Cut carbs, cut fat, eat only at night, never eat at night. This berry, that cleanse. This 30-day system. Picture the shelves of supplements, the paid programs, the influencers selling shame, and a discount code. And picture, sitting underneath that entire billion-dollar mountain, the boring free truth everyone already knows, eat mostly real food, not too much, move your body, sleep, be patient. That truth would fit on an index card too. And it will never make anyone rich, because you can't sell what's free and boring. So an entire industry exists to sell you everything except it. The money world runs the identical playbook, and once you see the machine, you see it everywhere. To turn a free index card into a business, a guru has to add 4 things, and every one of them is a distortion of the truth. The first thing they add is complexity. Picture them taking that simple card and burying it inside a 1,000-page system. A 12-module course, a web of rules and tiers and strategies, Because if the truth were as simple as it actually is, you wouldn't need them. Complexity is what creates the need for a guide. The second thing they add is urgency. Picture a countdown clock slapped onto everything. This window is closing. Enroll by midnight, because the real truth, invest and wait decades, is the opposite of urgent, and nobody buys a course today for a result in 30 years. So they manufacture a fire. The third thing they add is identity. Picture a tribe forming around each guru. The merch, the community, the special name for the followers, the sense that you're not just taking advice, you're one of us now. Because a person following a system is a customer, but a person who belongs to a movement is a customer for life. And the fourth thing they add is the darkest and most profitable, the real engine of the lie, blame. Picture the guru pointing a finger straight at you and saying in 100 gentle or not so gentle ways, if this isn't working, it's because of you. Your mindset, your discipline, your excuses. Because if the system fails, it can never be the system's fault. It has to be yours. That way you don't ask for a refund. You buy the next thing to fix the broken part, which they've told you is you. And before we get to the wholesome one, walk through the stadium with me for a second and meet the main species of guru, because they're all running this exact machine in different costumes, and you'll recognize every one of them. Picture the hustle guru first, the one on the stage in front of the rented sports car and the rented mansion, screaming that you're lazy, that you need to grind 20 hours a day, that sleep is for the poor. His product is shame dressed as motivation, and the secret he's selling is that the reason you're broke is that you don't want it badly enough. A few stages over, picture the passive income influencer, lounging on a beach with a laptop, promising money while you sleep, the dropshipping store, the online course about making online courses, the funnel. His secret is that there's an easy automatic faucet of money, always one purchase away. Next to him, picture the real estate guru at a hotel ballroom seminar, a slide deck glowing behind him, promising you can buy properties with no money down and quit your job by spring, with the upsell to the $10,000 mastermind waiting at the back of the room. Then picture the doom guy, grim in a bunker, telling you the whole system is about to collapse and the only safe move is the gold coins or the newsletter he happens to sell. Fear, packaged and priced, every one of them, the hustler, the beach influencer, the real estate closer, the doom prophet, is selling a different secret. They all contradict each other, and they are all running the identical machine: complexity, urgency, identity, and blame wrapped around a free truth. They need you to never notice. So if all these obvious ones are doing it, here's the real test of my whole argument. What about the guy who seems like the opposite of all this? The calm, wholesome, anti-hype one your parents trust? Let me do the thing the title promised and talk about Dave Ramsey, because he is the perfect test of everything I just said. And I want to be genuinely fair here, because this is not a hit piece and Ramsey is not a crook. Let me start with the real good, because there's a lot of it. Dave Ramsey has helped millions of people climb out of crushing debt, and that is not nothing. That is enormous. Picture a family buried under credit cards, car loans, and stress. Who found his plan, followed it, and clawed their way to zero? His approach is built for people who are drowning and need a hard, simple, strict set of rules to grab onto. And here is a truth most of his critics skip. A simple system you actually follow beats a mathematically perfect system you ignore. For a person with no plan and no control, Ramsey's rigid no exceptions rules can be a genuine lifeline. Credit where it's due. But watch how even the most helpful guru alive cannot escape the lie. Take his single most famous rule, the debt snowball. Picture a person with 5 debts, and Ramsey tells them, ignore the interest rates and pay off the smallest balance first, then the next smallest for the emotional high of quick wins. And the fair part is, that emotional high genuinely keeps some people in the game who'd otherwise quit. But mathematically, it's not the cheapest answer. Picture 2 identical people paying off the same debts. The one who attacks the highest interest rate first, a method called the avalanche, pays less money overall and gets out faster. Ramsey knowingly trades math for motivation. For some people, that trade is worth it. For others, it costs real money. And the point is, it's a trade, presented as a commandment. Or take his blanket war on debt, cut up every credit card, never take a car loan, pay cash for everything, race to kill even a low-interest mortgage. Picture someone with zero self-control around credit. For them, scorched earth is probably the right call. But as a universal rule for every human being, it's one size fits all. And it can cost disciplined people real opportunities. The person who could use a credit card for rewards and pay it off every month. Or the person racing to clear a 2 or 3% mortgage when that same money invested would likely have grown to far more. And then there's the number he's long been associated with, a roughly 12% average stock market return, which many financial planners consider too optimistic for planning, once you account for inflation and the way a raw average overstates what you actually keep. Plan your whole retirement around 12%, and you may save too little for the future you actually get. But here's the fair conclusion, and it's the whole point. None of that makes Ramsey a villain. It makes him a guru, because even here with the most genuinely helpful one, Notice what's happening. He's still selling you a branded, trademarked system of steps, an identity you literally scream about when you're debt-free. The books, the courses, the events, and the parts of his advice that actually change lives are the oldest, most boring, completely free ideas sitting underneath the brand. Spend less than you make, get out from under high-interest debt, save a cushion, invest, be patient. That was always on the index card. You never needed the brand to get it. You needed to do it. If even the best of them can't escape wrapping the free truth in a system to sell, what do you think the worst of them are doing? Now I want to go to the deepest, most damaging layer of this lie, the one underneath all the others. Because it's the one that's been hurting you personally, whether you've noticed it or not. The core of the lie is that your lack of wealth is a personal failing, a discipline problem, a mindset problem, a you problem. Picture yourself late at night, looking at your accounts, feeling that hot flush of shame. I should be further along. Everyone else figured this out. What's wrong with me? That feeling was manufactured. It was sold to you on purpose because shame is the most profitable emotion in personal finance. A confident person doesn't buy the next course. An ashamed one does. And here is the truth the shame is hiding from you. An enormous amount of where you are financially has nothing to do with your character. Picture the real levers that actually decide most people's wealth, sitting off to the side while the guru points at your willpower. There's the income you were able to earn, shaped by where you were born, what your family could afford, what the job market did the decade you entered it. There's time compounding needs decades, and a 25-year-old and a 45-year-old are simply not at the same point on the same curve, no matter how disciplined either one is. There's plain luck, the health crisis, the layoff, the family emergency that drained the account through no fault of your own. And there's the simple fact that most of us were never taught any of this. Picture a person walking out of 12 years of school and 4 years of college having never once been shown how a single index fund works, and then being told their money problems are a discipline flaw. None of that fits on a course thumbnail because none of it can be fixed by buying something, and a lot of it isn't your fault at all, so no guru ever mentions it. It is far more profitable to sell you a mirror that shows you a failure than a window that shows you a system. But I'm telling you now, the reason you're not further along is not, mostly, that you're weak or lazy or undisciplined. It's some math you were never taught, some income you didn't control, some time that simply hasn't passed yet, and some luck that broke the wrong way. Put the shame down. It was never yours to carry. It was just the most effective thing anyone ever sold you. Let me show you this playing out in 2 lives, because the difference between believing the lie and seeing through it changes everything. And it's not the difference you'd expect. Picture 2 people, same age, same income, both of whom decide on the same day that they want to build wealth. Call one the chaser and the other the automator. The chaser treats getting rich like a secret to be discovered. Like there's a code out there and the right guru has it. Picture the chaser's journey, buys the first best-selling money book, gets fired up, then buys a course, then a different course when that one stalls, then follows an influencer, then jumps to real estate seminars, then to a crypto community, then to a new system promising it fixed the flaws in the last one. Picture the chaser's shelf a few years in, stacked with books, a browser full of course logins, a folder of downloaded PDFs, thousands of dollars spent learning how to make money. And picture the chaser's actual investment account, nearly empty, because all that motion, all that spending, all that seeking went into consuming systems instead of doing the one boring thing. The chaser knows more about money than almost anyone. And the chaser is broke because knowing the secret was never the problem. There was never a secret. The automator did something almost insultingly simple. Picture them reading one solid, boring explanation of the basics, the index card, one time. Then picture them setting up a single automatic transfer into one broad, low-cost index fund every payday, and then walking away and living their life. No more books. No more courses. No more gurus. Picture them going years without thinking about money at all, while that automatic transfer runs in the background like a machine nobody has to tend. They never found a secret because they understood there wasn't one. They just did the free boring thing on autopilot for a long time. Now run the tape forward 10, 15 years. Picture the 2 accounts side by side. The chaser, smarter about money, more passionate about money, who spent more time and more dollars on money than almost anyone, has a shelf of wisdom and an empty account. The automator who stopped paying attention after week 1 has a real growing pile of wealth. Same income, same start. One of them spent 15 years buying maps to the treasure. The other just walked to it. And the only difference between them was that one believed the truth had to be complicated and hidden, and the other believed it was simple and free, and only one of them was right. So let me just give you the card. The whole thing, free right now, and then tell you the one skill that actually matters. Here's the card in full. First, spend less than you earn, and protect that gap with your life because that gap is the only raw material wealth is ever built from. Second, if you have high interest debt, especially credit cards, kill it. That's a guaranteed return no investment can beat. Third, keep a small, boring cash cushion, enough to absorb a bad month, so one emergency doesn't undo everything. Fourth, take the gap between what you earn and what you spend and put it automatically every month into a broad low-cost index fund, something that owns a little piece of the whole market, not a hot stock, not a guru's pick. Fifth, then leave it alone. Don't panic sell when it drops, and it will drop. Don't chase whatever's spiking. Just keep feeding it and wait for years, for decades. Sixth, carry insurance on the things that could wipe you out: your health, your income, your home, so a single disaster can't reset you to zero. And seventh, the one guru's underplay because you can't sell it as a shortcut. Work on earning more over time because you can only cut your spending so far, but your income has no ceiling. That's it. Picture that finished card stuck to your fridge with a magnet. There is nothing else. And if that boring card sounds too simple to actually make anyone wealthy, let me show you the math the gurus need you to doubt. Picture someone who does nothing but the card, puts a few $100s a month into a plain index fund, and leaves it alone. At the market's long-run average, picture that ordinary person's account crossing $100,000, then $250,000, and then, after enough decades, past $1 million, not from a secret, not from a hot pick, not from a single course, but from the most boring possible action repeated for a very long time. The reason that story never gets sold is that it takes decades and requires nothing you have to buy. It's unspectacular, it's unglamorous, and it works better than almost everything being screamed in that stadium. Boring compounding has made more millionaires than every get-rich-quick secret in history combined. And here's the one skill that actually decides whether you get rich, the skill the entire guru industry is designed to prevent you from developing. The ability to do the boring known thing for a very long time without being pulled away by the next shiny secret. That's the whole game. Not finding better information. You already have all the information you need. It's on the card. The challenge was never knowledge. It was staying on the boring path while 10,000 voices scream that there's a faster one just over there, for only $900. So here's your filter. For the rest of your life, the next time any guru, any influencer, any system tells you something, hold it up against the card. If it's just the card in fancier packaging, you don't need to buy it, you already own it. And if it contradicts the card, if it's urgent, if it's complicated, if it's a secret, if it blames you, that's not the missing piece. That's the lie. Wearing a new outfit. Trust the card. So let's go back one last time to that stadium, the roar of it, the hundreds of stages, the thousands of voices all shouting their secrets, all holding up their books, all pointing at you and telling you the reason you're not rich is something missing inside you that only they can sell back to you. You see it completely differently now. You can hear that the voices contradict each other, which means most of them have to be wrong. You can see the countdown clocks and the merch and the tears and the shame, and you can name each one for what it is: complexity, urgency, identity, blame. The 4 tools for turning a free truth into an expensive product. You can even look at the wholesome guy in the sweater vest, the one who's genuinely helped people, and see that even he is wrapping the free card in a brand, because that's the only way the stadium can exist. And here's the part that should feel like a door swinging open. You were never trapped in that stadium. You bought a ticket, sure. Most of us did. But the exits were open the entire time. Picture yourself standing up in the middle of all that noise with one small white index card in your hand. The whole truth, the free truth, the boring truth. And just walking toward the door, picture the shouting getting fainter behind you with every step. The countdown clocks and the secret systems and the pointing fingers shrinking in the distance. Until you push open the door and step outside into plain daylight, where the actual path to wealth turns out to be a short, dull, ordinary walk that never needed a guide. The gurus will keep shouting. The stadium will stay full because there will always be people who'd rather buy a map than take the walk, and there will always be someone happy to sell them one. But it can't touch you anymore. Because you finally understand the one thing the entire industry is built to hide. The truth about money was always simple, always boring, and always free. And the only thing that was ever actually for sale was your belief that it wasn't. So take your card, walk out, and never buy a ticket again,